Well, hello there, and good afternoon from the British Coney Island? Well, not quite. I'm in Redcar because, well, I wanted to stay somewhere nearby, but it's Easter weekend, and the only decent deal I could find was in Redcar. But as it turns out, the place that I found that pretty good deal at happens to be a place that's also really full of history and has quite an interesting story to tell. Now, clearly today, the weather just isn't that great. I've been told that's what it often looks like here. But during my time here, I did get very lucky with a full day of sunshine too. We'll get to that in another video about the neighboring town of Saltburn. But with a name like Redcar, in an English-speaking country, you would think that the meaning of that name would be pretty obvious. Redcar, right? Not the case at all. Actually, the name Redcar is some kind of combination of Old English and Viking language, with red being the long ago used word for reeds and car being the word for marsh. So something kind of like this, actually, a reed marsh. That's what this town was named after, simply because it has, I guess, at least one reed marsh. I think there might be more around like this. Basically, once you get off the beach over there, it's still very low, unlike some of the other nearby towns such as Saltburn that has a little bit of altitude. This seems to be just the kind of place to visit if you're interested in getting a feel for small, or I guess better said, medium town life in this part of the UK. Somehow it reminds me faintly of Brooklyn, just because it's very low in terms of altitude and there are a lot of these two-story houses. Certainly Redcar is not considered the most beautiful town in the area, but it does still have some nice landmarks such as this church right here. And this church does happen to be just a few blocks away from the cool bed and breakfast that I was staying at. So let's go over there and learn a little bit about the history of the place. Yeah, so this building was first built in 1867, but quite a few different things have occurred here actually. Let's step inside and talk about it. 2 doors to get in here. So yeah, you can see everything now is pretty recently redone. I think it's 11 or 12 years ago that John and Jackie, the current owners of this place, purchased it from a very dilapidated state apparently. And my room is upstairs, but down here, there's the reading room. And it's quite interesting. The owner was nice enough to explain some of the history to me already, but basically here you've got a bunch of old photographs of how the place used to look. And the really fascinating thing about it is just the fact that this lady, Gertrude Bell, was actually raised in this house. And yeah, her father, Hugh Bell, was, I guess you could kind of call him a tycoon, or at least a guy who had a lot of industrial power. So basically the train line runs right out of this window. And apparently there actually used to be a platform only for Hugh Bell to go to and from work, which was, I guess, a few miles or kilometers to the right in a factory each day. So if you have a personal train station for yourself, you're probably doing pretty decent. But anyway, here you can see they've got some old photos of Gertrude Bell and her father, well, and the rest of her family too. They all lived in this house, but Gertrude is probably the most notable. I don't know, I guess in the UK she's actually quite well known because she was one of the first women to go to university, and then later she actually lived many different years throughout the Middle East and yeah, spent a lot of time learning both Arabic and Farsi and getting to know the cultures over there. So this place was built in 1867 originally, and after the Bell family left during World War I, it was used as a kind of makeshift hospital. And then not long after that, it became a boys' dormitory for basically a school down the street, or boarding school, I think, although the way it was explained to me, it's kind of like half boarding school for people from further away and then half just a regular school. So anyway, around 1980, it stopped being a boys' dormitory, and some brewery from the area actually purchased it and turned it into a B&B for the first time. But at some point down the line, it was actually abandoned for quite a while, and the current owners had like a huge project to basically redo everything on the inside you see here. And in my opinion, they did a really nice job with this place. And now, again, it's a very nice place to stay. So let's go check out my room. And here there are 5 rooms. Now there's one peculiarity. When I was booking, I was so confused because one of the rooms has what is listed, well, it's listed kind of as a private bathroom, but a private bathroom that's separate from the other room. So I thought maybe that meant it could be a shared bathroom, but it turns out, no. All 5 rooms here have private bathrooms. It's just that 4 of them have in-suite private bathrooms and 1 has a private bathroom that's across the hall. But here we are at my and my wife's room number 2. So, in this beautiful historical house, this is the room I'll be staying in for 3 nights, with my wife, of course. It's pretty spacious, and it's sparsely decorated, but in the most positive of ways that you could say that, really. The views are awesome. I mean, there's just these English red bricks everywhere. It's very beautiful. And then in the backyard, there's the railway line about, I don't know, you could say about half a block down that way. But in their yard right now, it's spring, and they've got a cherry blossom tree that's in full bloom. What a perfect time to be here. It's a shared fridge down the hallway, but in the room you've got your kettle, some, I believe English people would call those biscuits, and then, yeah, some Yorkshire, I never know how to pronounce that tea, that I've never tried. I really want to try this one. And then what else is here? Milk, although there's actually fresh milk from a farm that the owners leave anybody staying here in the fridge down the hall. And instant hot chocolate, just add water. Plus there's a bathroom. It's got all the basic amenities, some soap in the shower. Only a shower though, no bath, but yeah, spacious enough. Sea kelp sounds like something nice. I don't know, I've never heard of this company or anything, but well, it's actually made in Scotland, so maybe it actually is nice. I did just wash my hands with it. It smells refreshing, I guess. I don't know how you would describe the smell of sea kelp, to be honest. But as comfortable as this hotel room looks like it will be, and as beautiful as the surroundings are, it's the history of this place that makes it really just even more interesting. Well, and the fact that it costs less than £100 per night to stay here. At least on the dates that I'm staying here. And they do a mean British breakfast. That's serious right there. But again, this is in the town of Redcar, not where I'd actually planned to stay. Not that it's a bad place. You've got shops if you need them, the beach, and well, let's admit it, kind of a miniature Coney Island feel. Oh yeah, and the world's oldest surviving lifeboat just happens to be hosted at the Zetland Lifeboat Museum. It was closed when I tried to visit though. But luckily, accessing the nearby towns of Saltburn by the Sea and Marske by the Sea, both places I'd originally considered staying, is as simple as a quick train ride or a beautiful walk. After getting situated, I'd have the chance to try out both of those, but as for Redcar, I came only expecting a bed to sleep in and found quite a bit more. Don't forget to like, make sure you're subscribed, and stay tuned to join me in my next video as we get deeper into this underrated coastal region of England.